more recoil than the birdshot.
Welcome back to a hot and steamy evening out here on the dock, everyone. As you probably guessed from the title, the thumbnail, and the intro, this is what we are going over today. This is the Orthos Arms Raider S4. It is sort of a Turk Nelly, and over the last probably year or so on YouTube and Rumble, these have been pretty popular items to review. During that time, of course, the folks at Orthos Arms did reach out and ask if I was interested in reviewing one. And I said, yes, absolutely. Why did I say that? Well, for many, many years now, you guys have seen this gun right here. This is a Benelli M4. This is the H2O with the actual H2O finish. A very rare gun these days. But it is a gun that I've cited very, very often in terms of reliable shotguns as a baseline. And I really don't think there are better semi-automatic shotguns than the M4. There may be some that are as good, have different features, etc. But this gun here, what they are claiming is that it performs very similar to the Benelli M4, however, for a lot less money. So let's talk about money right off the bat. So right here, as you guys see it configured, generally speaking, this gun is going to come in somewhere in the $1,200 to $1,300 price point. That's not with the accessories, I should just add. And the base Benelli M4 with a similar setup would be about $2,600 to $2,800. The base Benelli M4 is about $2,000, give or take. Of course, the accessories would have to be put on there to get it up to this level. So what is this gun? Well, we mentioned the term Turk Nelly earlier. It's kind of a Turk Nelly, kind of not. So what are the parts that are made in Turkey? So essentially the barrel, which is an 18.5 inch, 12 gauge barrel, it is chrome lined. The bolt itself right here, as well as the receiver, those are all made in Turkey. Everything else that you see on the gun outside of this optic is made in America. So all the other accessories are made in America, and the folks over at Orthos Arms claim that they go through everything, deburr it, do high quality control on everything, and then, of course, assemble it, Cerakote it if needed. Of course, there are many different colors this is available in. Some of them have different carbon fiber options, all of those sorts of things. There's lots of options available from the folks over at Orthos Arms. And then send it out to United States customers with a lifetime warranty. So that is what they say this gun is, and I suppose we're going to go through and get this thing heated up. Now, before we jump out to the range and show you a sequence that I'm about to show you, we put about 400 rounds through this gun to get it broken in. In their operator's manual, they do say that they recommend firing over 50 rounds of ammunition, that is 1,250 feet per second, to get it properly broken in. During that portion, I did have one malfunction. Ooh, malfunction. First one, using Winchester birdshot. Basically, it looks like the bolt didn't come back far enough. It might not be powerful enough. Yeah, locked it back. Just to let you guys know, during that first 50 rounds, we fired another 350 rounds through it and had zero malfunctions of any kind. The vast majority of that was full power buckshot from our friends over at Firearms Depot. And then we attempted to fire 200 rounds through it, which you guys are about to see here in just a second. And then we fired some fancy specialty ammo through it, which we'll show you guys rather right after that. This review has been 8 or 9 months in the making, so this one might go a little bit long, but I want to show you guys kind of some cool stuff with the gun, talk about all the different features, all of those sorts of things. Before we head out and show you that mini burn down, we do want to thank the folks over at Brownells, who of course are the main channel sponsor here. We definitely appreciate them for sponsoring the channel, helping provide everything that we bring to you guys. Now with that, let's head out there and start the mini burn down. Sorry about the wind, but we're gonna run 200 rounds through it about as fast as possible just to see what the heat does to it. A mix of both buck and birdshot. Right now we have buckshot in there. Let's keep going, full power buckshot. Birdshot. Winchester birdshot. 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 Buckshot. Birdshot. So we had our first failure there, and I also burned my hand. Same group. So I didn't notice it while firing, but looks like we had a failure to extract again. Yeah, we definitely did. I obviously just induced a double feed. That's not on the gun, but it looks like it ripped the rim of the cartridge off. That's Fiocchi 7.5 shot. Well, that's not good. I just wanted to catch on that rim and get it rotated. Holy. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm pretty sure the rim just completely, or excuse me, the brass just came completely off that round. Yep, it did. I was right. Now the question is that shell still in there? Yes, it is. All right, so we got a shell in there. Unfortunately, guys, that's going to deadline your gun in terms of like field maintenance. There's no way I can fix that malfunction. We were just under 200 rounds there when that happened. Off camera, we tapped that shell out there, and that is what it looks like, obviously, with no brass on there. Throw that aside. Right now, we're going to load the gun up with some buckshot, as you guys can see here, full double-aught buck. The gun has not been cleaned at all. We just drove it out. It has cooled down, though, obviously. It was hot. It was very hot. Got that high-speed pocket shell holder. All right, let's see if she runs. Yep, still runs. We're gonna keep going. Bird shot and buckshot mix. Bird shot. We hit it. Now we're going to channel my inner 12-year-old and punch through some things and maybe blow some stuff up. We will see here in just a second. But the folks over at Kerr Ammo reached out to me and they said, hey, is there anything you could use in the channel that we could send out and you could utilize in your videos? And obviously this review has been going on for a few months now with the Orthos, and 12 gauge has some pretty cool rounds out there, specialty rounds. The folks over at Kerr Ammo had some, so I requested it be sent out, and it is this stuff right here. It is armor penetrating sabot slugs. So just right up front, Kerr Ammo, KIRAMMO dot you know what. There should be a code here on your screen that will get you guys a discount over there, and I believe orders over $199 also ship free as well. But this stuff right here piqued my interest because what it says is it can go through armor. You know me, I have lots of armor, and I found it kind of hard to believe that 12 gauge could go through armor. However, sabot slugs have a lot of potential because depending on the design of it and the shape of the sabot projectile, the sabot I should be rolling in kind of an illustration here so you guys get an idea of what that looks like, definitely can be relatively pointy, and pointy, hard things at certain velocities go through armor. So we have some armor out here today. This stuff here is, it says a 385 grain Ally armor piercing sabot slug. It says it goes through 2 car doors and has plenty of horsepower. And then it says, the big one, body armor won't help a suspect with this round. So we're about to find out here because obviously we have some body armor. This is level 3A, this is Kevlar. And I think this stuff here, it might actually go through. I picked the Kevlar for a reason. I think with UHWMPE, which is also level 3A, it would have a harder time going through. But I think this Kevlar, it may actually go through. And I suppose there's only one way to find out. Let's do it. We're going to be shooting up close and personal, about 10 feet here. We have the armor backed up by some dirt, so that should kind of somewhat replicate a torso, and we'll see how it does. This is actually not zeroed for this load, so that should be fun as well. Let's see. I don't know. At this point, y'all have seen the slow-mo and I haven't, so I actually don't know how it looks. However, one thing I will tell you after looking at the box as well as our armor here, it absolutely did not go through. So it stretched it a good bit right there. We hit a little bit left, and it did not come through on the other side. And right next to where it was sitting, that's what was left. Interesting that they say it's a sabot slug. So you can probably tell there's a little bit of a tip in there. And I'm not sure if that was supposed to continue punching through and this was supposed to come off. I genuinely don't know. But good news, we have some other stuff to shoot, so let's do that. Now for something a little bit more reactive, the same Sabo slugs here, and we shall see. That'll do it. Not sure how that comes across on camera, but that thing just pulverized the internals. It does not look like watermelon anymore. It looks like just mush. As you can probably tell, we've backed up a good bit. I really don't want to get hit with this, so we're gonna see if we can get a hit there on that 2 liter and battle diabetes. Let's see. Well, the slugs might not go through body armor, but obviously they nuked a watermelon as well as a 2 liter, and that's scientific ballistics, folks. That's why you're here on the channel. And again, thanks to the folks at Kerr Ammo for sending it out, so that way we could play with it a little bit. Now let's get back to the video. There really is no denying that you absolutely can have a lot of fun with 12 gauge, the right ammo, and the right targets out in a random field. But before we get into the actual details of the gun, do want to mention this is going to be a Mug Club episode. So for folks who don't know, Mug Club is a place where creators can create exclusive content that is censorship free, which is one thing that certainly YouTube cannot do. I'm not going to take this gun apart. I'm not going to show you it disassembled because YouTube would probably ban the video if we did that. So over on Mug Club, myself, Stephen Crowder, Alex Jones, Hodge Twins, Brian Callen, Nick DiPaolo, etc. are making exclusive member-only content. And over there today, we're going to be talking about some budget pump-action shotguns. Should you not be able to afford a gun like this, that certainly could get the job done. Ones that I recommend, ones that I have experience with. So if you guys are interested in that, there should be a code here on your screen that will get you guys a free month of membership over there on Mug Club. And again, we're going to go over there and discuss all of that. Now, getting into the gun itself, tip to butt, there is a lot going on here with this particular firearm. Like we mentioned, of course, the shotgun 18.5 inches with the barrel chrome lined. It does have a threaded choke system there on the inside. It comes with 3 different chokes, including a breacher choke. So if you guys are interested in breaching doors, I definitely recommend either offset or a breacher choke. If not, you could have some explosive results. There is a technique to breaching, but that breacher choke does help with it and help minimize user error. Continuing back on the barrel itself, you'll note that we do have those ports there at the top. They fire out at an angle, sort of like a V, as you look down the actual sights of the shotgun. Speaking of that, it does have ghost ring sights. Now, some of the earlier versions of this had a battery illuminated fiber optic front sight. This one does not, as I break my table. This one just has a standard white dot on there. It is drift adjustable rather for windage. Continuing on back there, we do have our 1913 clamp. So that way, if you want to add a light on there, you certainly can do so. It also helps keep the magazine tube in place because without it, really the only thing holding it in place is this piece right here, which tightens down. Of course, for disassembly, you just unthread that, pull it off, and a lot of other things come out. It does have a virtually identical operating system to the M4. If you actually look under here on the handguards, you guys probably can see that. So it does have dual driven piston system, just like the M4. Whether or not it is as reliable, we will get to here a little bit later on in the video. But the magazine tube there is extended from the factory. Of course, that is an American made part. That is one thing that is difficult to get from Benelli from the factory. It's going to cost you some extra money if you want that because of import restrictions. Most of the M4s actually come in with a 5-round magazine tube rather than a 7. Now, I should note it is 7 if you're using 2 3/4 inch shells. But if you're using 3-inch shells, it's going to knock that down to 6. Of course, this is a M4 clone, so you can ghost load it if you want. Get one in the chamber as well as one on top of that lifter. So continuing on back, we do have this piece here, which is a sling adapter point. Continuing beyond that, we do have a M-LOK handguard. Now, this is a pretty slick handguard. This actually can be purchased separately from Orthos, as basically every accessory here can be if you want to upgrade your M4 or if you have a Turknelli of another origin, if you will, but this one here is pretty slick. The downside of it is, because it's so slick and slim to the actual barrel and the magazine tube, some of these M-LOK slots actually aren't usable. Now, the good part about that is many of them are. So basically this top row here, all the way back to right here is usable, but after that, the barrel and the piston system gets in the way. And if you go down one more, basically the piston system comes out to right here. So really only the front portion, the front half of one M-LOK slot is usable. But if you guys saw out there in the field when we were shooting the watermelon and other things, the armor, we had the lights mounted up here on top and had no issue with it at all. Additionally, if you're okay with coming down to this portion right here, so I guess that would be the third row down, all of those slots are usable where we do have our M-LOK rail panels in there. It does come from the factory with this hand stop kit. It's actually a 3-piece kit. It is made out of aluminum and it is anodized on there. But basically, if you want to run just a small portion like this piece up here, you can do so. Or if you want to run the whole thing, you can, as we have been doing. Or if you just want to run this large portion here at the rear, which personally for me really is the only portion that I actually use when firing, you can run just that as well. Continuing rearward to the receiver, we have our oversized release latch, which certainly is nice over the standard M4 button that you would get on there, that little button that you see on the Benelli receiver. This definitely is an improvement in my opinion. So essentially for folks that don't know what that is and how it works, we hit our little lever there, and that lever there, if you push up on it, functions just like as if you had pressed the trigger. Pull our bolt to the rear. Now at this point, you can load directly into the chamber if you want to and send your bolt home and do a ghost load. Again, I don't think I can actually show you how to do that here on YouTube. I do have a video though that has been fully demonetized from like 8 years ago that walks you guys through how to do it. If you guys are interested, it is here on the channel. But basically at that point, you just hit that lever and it sends it home and you are ready to go. Other than that, we continue back there on the trigger guard, and you'll see that is our safety. It is oversized versus the standard Benelli, and it is a cross bolt safety, so pushing it to the left as a right-handed shooter puts you on fire. Now, as a right-handed shooter and someone who shot 870s growing up, I use my knuckle to do that. It's kind of the most intuitive way, and then at that point, you can just get right on the trigger, so that way you don't have to push your finger in and then push your finger in the trigger guard. You're kind of ready to go. That's kind of a little insider tip there for you if you're interested in that. Additionally, this little pin that keeps your trigger guard in place is in the identical position to the M4. I know a lot of side saddles and stuff like that that mount up on receivers do mount with that pin. So if that's something you're interested in, anything for the M4 will fit on there as well. Speaking of M4 pattern, this 1913 rail there on top is M4 pattern. So the screw pattern there, I believe it's 5 screws, is the exact same as the M4. On this one here, of course, you guys can see that we have the Midwest Industries Aimpoint compatible mount on there. That would swap right on there if that is something you are interested in. Continuing back there, we do have our windage and elevation adjustable ghost ring sight. It's a very good sight, very high quality. I really don't have any complaints about it. Basically, we zeroed this one here with slugs. I just had to move it a little bit to the left, and we were on at 25 yards, point of aim, point of impact. So not mad at all about the sights. Continuing rearward to the stock, you'll note the Orthos arms one here looks kind of similar to the factory Benelli adjustable stock. However, they function very, very differently. This stock here is actually extremely expensive if you go to buy it from the factory. I believe it's like $400 or $500. And again, they do not come imported that way for civilians because of import restrictions with 922R and all of that nonsense. However, they are interchangeable. You could swap them back and forth. So basically everything that I'm aware of anyway, you can swap back and forth on this gun. So that is a good feature because of course Benelli's patents ran out, which is why we have this surge of Turknellis in the first place. But the grip is nice and big and fat. It's honestly identical to the M4 grip, really nothing different there. And one thing that's nice about this little piece right here is this cheek piece. You just press this button here and you can move it up or down. So that way if you're using optics or the iron sights, you can get your head in the right position. Of course, the stock itself is adjustable for length of pull. One thing I wish they would do, hopefully you guys can see this here, but there's this little gap where it would be able to, if you just milled a little bit out back here on the polymer, it would be able to go a little bit more forward. For me, I'm 6 feet tall, so I really don't need that. However, folks who are like 5'8", 5'9", you might want a little bit more compact stock, particularly if you're using body armor or something like that. So it'd be a simple fix that if the folks over there, Orthos Arms, are watching, they'd probably be able to do pretty darn easily. But other than that, very easy to move it back and forth. And then back here on the rear, you guys probably have noticed that we do have this little recoil adjustable springs on the buttstock, and it works fairly well. It definitely functions as designed. Does it actually matter when you're actually firing the shotgun? I would say the load you're actually using definitely matters more in terms of recoil and other systems on the gun, specifically the piston system, as well as the porting on there are going to do just as much in terms of keeping the gun flat, if you will, as that piece does. But altogether, it definitely does feel like a relatively smooth shooting semi-automatic shotgun. Another small difference that you might not notice between the original M4 that we have here versus the Orthos Arms version is going to be the deburring that goes on the loading gate. So like I mentioned, the folks over at Orthos Arms, if you go to their website, they say that they do deburr everything in-house. And I can definitely tell you that, especially versus the Benelli, I'm not even talking about other like $500 Turk Nellies. This again is a $2,000 plus shotgun. This one is way more deburred. It is less likely to slice you up, which certainly is nice. Everything, all the edges, I mean, you can run your finger along it. I'm telling you, good luck doing that with the M4. I mean, you might be able to do it for a little bit, but you do it with about 40, 50 loads through it, you're gonna cut yourself on that Benelli. Whereas this one here, I mean, you can run your hand through here, no blood, you can see there, whereas that certainly isn't the case. One thing that I think the folks at Orthos say though that isn't quite as good, they say this is a deburred, oversized charging handle. It doesn't look oversized to me, and I actually did cut myself twice on it during the review process. So if they wanted to deburr this a little bit more, I'm game for it. Additionally, if they wanted to make it a little bit bigger, I also would be okay with that. At this point in the video, I think you guys have a pretty good idea of what the shotgun is. One big thing we have to talk about is going to be reliability. Now, during that little mini burn down there, I'm not sure if I said it on camera, that was filmed like 4 months ago, 3 months ago, but we fired 191 rounds through it. That is what I determined after watching the video. 191 rounds through it, and that last one, of course, got stuck in the chamber. I'm not sure if it is a result of bad ammunition, or the chamber was just too hot, or the chamber is a little bit out of spec. So after that, we fired several hundred rounds through it since, of various types. We've had zero issues of any kind. So that was the last malfunction that we had there. And I think we had a couple during that period. And overall, again, we're just over 1,000 rounds. We've had 5 or 6. I'd have to review the footage, but it's 5 or 6 total malfunctions, including that one in the break-in period. And is that good? Is that bad? I would say for a semi-automatic shotgun, that's actually pretty good, especially considering the various types of ammunition that we have put through it. I'm not mad at all about the reliability. So there is that. We did have to use a actual rod to push through and actually get that brass piece of the shotgun shell out. So that really is about as catastrophic a malfunction as you can have without actually damaging the gun, because you can't clear it in the field. You need an actual rod to go through and break it out. So not good, but it is what it is, and we bring that stuff to you here on the channel unvarnished in as compact of a video as possible, although I believe this video is probably getting quite long in the tooth. One other issue we had with this gun that I did notice throughout the video is that I do not use a ton of slings on the channel. Many of you guys may have noticed that. However, one day we were out there running it, and basically this is a Magpul stock with Magpul factory accessories, and it does have this little QD port there in the rear. And basically, you guys can see how little it takes to actually get that to pop out. So that actual sling swivel point is not in spec. Now you can pull on it left or right, it's okay, but as soon as you go to pull out, it's just like you guys saw there. So it is out of spec. That said, one thing that does come with the gun, which is nice, is they do include a QD sling attachment point. I assume it's meant to be mounted here at the bag, at the M-lock rather, attachment points, and that one there is perfectly in spec and nothing pops out in there. So all in all, we've had a couple bobbles with the gun, and I know a lot of you guys want to compare it to the M4. My M4 I've had for many, many years here, and I've never had a single malfunction with it. Just to let you guys know the truth, this one's definitely got over 1,000 rounds through it. And again, 0 malfunctions. This one, 5 or 6 malfunctions. However, the price point is something to talk about. Again, this one here is going to come in, depending on how you configure it, anywhere from $11.99 to $13.99. And the M4 in the base configuration is going to be about $2,000. Now there are Panzer and several other Turk Nellies out there that are going to come in around the $500 price point. And every review I've seen on those, not just the Panzers, but anything that is a Turk Nelly that is like under $600, everything I've seen has been really, really bad on them. If you guys don't watch James Reeves' channel, I definitely recommend that as a great place to see these shotguns and how they hold up. And to have one that's gone over 1,000 rounds, I don't know if you guys can see in there, but it is exceedingly dirty. We have not cleaned it at all. We just lubricated it several times during the testing. And to have 5 to 6 malfunctions, I do not think is bad. I really don't. For a semi-automatic, quote unquote tactical shotgun. I think it's actually pretty good. And the majority of the malfunctions that we had with it were with birdshot. So if you're gonna have a malfunction with this type of gun, to have it with birdshot is a good thing. Now, beyond that, would I recommend it? I think it just depends what you guys value as consumers. So if you value that, $800 reduction in price point and the increase in terms of accessories that this gun does have over a base M4, then yeah, I would recommend it. If you guys are somebody who values 100% reliability no matter what, and you have the budget to justify that, maybe not. That's up to you guys to decide. All I can do is present you guys the information and let you guys make your decisions from there. And with that, that's really all I have on this Orthos Arms Raider S4. What I would say is, to date, it is the best semi-automatic 12 gauge I have tested from Turkey. That is absolutely true. So it meets that bar. Whether it's high enough for you, again, you guys have to decide. Let me know what you think. I will be very interested in it. Of course, you can let me know at all my various social media sites here. Twitter, Telegram, Truth, those are definitely the best ones to follow me. However, if you guys are insistent on not following me on social media, that's perfectly fine. Definitely hit the subscribe button here on YouTube and Rumble. Hit the notification bell as well. If you've done that and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, you can sign up for my email list at the website that you see on your screen here. It is hot out right now. Am I sweating through the shirt? I think I am. You can sign up for that email list at the website here on your screen. This email goes out once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous month's email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. Additionally, we have the daily deals email, so if any of these accessories, the handguard, the optic, the stock, the extended magazine tube, etc. If any of those things go on sale, as well as the ammunition that we've been shooting throughout the video, it will be in my daily deals email. It goes out every day. As the name indicates, it has 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If the item, whatever it is in the email on that particular day, it's the cheapest I know of anywhere on the internet, because I've done the price comparisons for you, so that way it saves you guys some time and hopefully some money. And with that, that's all I got for you. Thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all over at Mug Club.